Oh boy, it's going to be quite the story. So there's so much going on. It was hard to get it in order. So let's start with this. So you remember how last week we did a story about Sasha Banks, Mercedes Monet, having creative control and whether or not she did. And I told you that Sean Rice Sapp did this whole ass video about her not having creative control. Well, fast forward a couple days later, Tony Khan, what he always does before his pay-per-views, does a media call. Sean Rossap jumps on the media call and he asks Tony Khan about said creative control and if Mercedes Monet had it. Tony Khan, he said no, as he should and would. No, she doesn't have creative control. You know, there's people with creative input, but no one has creative control. Like, basically, only in WCW would you see creative control, but not here. That was that. Well, JD from NY, he did a video talking about this whole thing where he debunked the whole creative control thing. He cites like CM Punk and other people. Straightforward. I mean, we did a video on it. I'm sure other people did a video on it. So you would think nothing of it. But apparently, at some point in that video, he called Sean Ross Sapp a liar. And being Sean Ross Sapp, he's not going to put up with that kind of bullshit. So Sean Ross Sapp takes to Twitter. And now this whole thing is taking place on Twitter. The first thing I saw was JD from New York puts out this tweet. AEW is full of shit. There wasn't a single thing in what I said that can be deduced as a lie. You were the one who started off a phone call with the boss of the company during the biggest weekend ever and made it about yourself just to prove a point that you were right and everyone else is wrong. I don't give a shit who you spoke to. They filter what they want through you. I did mention that. Tony has lied to the general public countless times. Why would you think he would tell you the truth? So yeah, now that's the first part of it I saw. Sean Ross Sapp, he breaks he replies to this, and the reply is right under it. He says, no, you lie to your audience and anyone that'll listen, and you cultivate a level of media illiteracy that I've only seen matched on Facebook. I've spoken to 50 people in AEW. Hold that thought right there. The company's Mercedes has been booked in, including talent, producers, agents, those that know her, those that promote the events. Not one person's accounting lines up to your take, but no, I'm sure that the guy who did absolutely no research and posted a fake MJF quote as proof is the honest one here. And this is where it takes a turn for like, what are we even doing now? If you want to call me a liar and a fucking idiot, and he put that in quote, to my face, I'm flying across the country to your city on July 31st to do a media for an event you can't get into. I welcome you to keep that same energy in person, says Sean Ross Sapp. So, we have now jumped from just being like a argument over, and again, this is all stemming from creative control. So now we've jumped from this being just like an argument to now one can only say that this is a threat. Now he doesn't specifically say fight me, but what else can you take from that? Show up and say it to my face. Like, what else can you take from that other than come fight me? And already, I would say it's kind of a no-win situation for JD. Let's play it out because now you got called out publicly. Let's say he does show up and say what he says, and then what? You got to fight, and the only way you can win out of that is if you win the fight. But is that even winning?
Well, he could also get his ass beat so bad that people feel bad for him.
Just get pulverized. I don't know. I don't think Sean Ross Sapp is a pulverizing kind of person. I mean, you get called out like that, you got to show up, though. They've had something before. Well, it gets even better because we then go on the next chapter in the story. So they go back and forth. So remember the whole thing about Mr. Sapp saying that he spoke to 50 people. So they went back and forth on that a little bit. So if Tony Khan directly told you that she doesn't have creative control, why would you need to go confirm it with 50 other people? That's basically what they went back and forth with on that. So we jump time a little bit and we can go to the next part of the saga. So now we have JD the next morning. So the tweet directly says, I woke up to 6 missed calls at 12:24 a.m. last night from a mentally unhinged lunatic, clearly off his meds or coming off a line of nose candy, whatever floats your boat. Any guesses who? Now, some fan commented under it and he said, You realize he's currently with other media people, so he can easily debunk this. No screenshots for proof, and you expect your minions to just lap up what you say and trust you. You've also posted this when real media are busy at a media day and can't respond. Lowest of the low. This is just some random fan. JD, oh, and then he quote tweets himself. This quote tweet is of missed calls, but you can see that yes, there's 4 missed calls, 5 missed calls, and then there's another call around that same time, but from a different number. So he posted the screenshots. So Sean Ross Sapp, and again, this is over whether or not Mercedes has creative control, has now called him 6 times for, I guess, to talk on the phone. I don't know. And then, so JD, he has the tweet and he says, The beacon of professionalism is Sean Ross Sapp, right? The guy that everyone hitches their wagon to, harassing me with phone calls while I'm in bed sleeping, one of which was a Connecticut number from someone that he was with last night. So many people stuck up for him. Meanwhile, this is who he truly is. Fucking grade A trash. And then we have the screenshot posted. And then there's another screenshot. Apparently, there was more calls from Sean Sapp. And he says, Bro, leave me the fuck alone. And then now people are saying, Play the voicemails. And it's like, he didn't leave any voicemails. It's just the phone calls. So now, again, this is this is all over creative control. So that's funny. And Mercedes hadn't said a word about any of this. But if you notice, through all these responses, JD has not addressed the beaten up part. Like, I would almost say he's keeping it professional. This is what I feel. This is how you're wrong. And here Sean Ross Sapp is like, Fight me, bitch. It keeps going, right? Sean Ross Sapp, now he's doubling down. You didn't wake up to shit. You were actively hiding people's replies when I called. Don't be a pussy. So now he's admitted to calling JD. I guess that would count as now 7 times. Then he says, July 31st. I'm traveling 700 miles to your city. Travel 3 and say any of this to my face. Now, Samantha Irvin, remember her? She decided to go ahead and chime in and said, I'll come out of retirement to announce this one. So she's piling on. I don't know. It's too far. I'm not saying JD did nothing wrong or anything, but it is a little too far to be threatening someone over disagreeing with you. And again, he did mention that he called him an idiot, so there's that. And there's history. I don't know what's going to happen. Because I'll tell you the vibe I get from Sean Ross Sapp. The vibe I get is show up and say it to my face. You show up, you say exactly what you say to his face. All right, we'll cross this line. And then you cross that line. We'll cross this line. And then you cross that line. Like he literally steps back and says, Well, cross this line. And then, all right, now make the first punch. You know, he's one of those guys that like just keeps throwing out demands. And then if you do punch him, he'll call the cops. Again, I don't think JD is a fighter either. Because what you would do, all right, I know you're the call the cops or hit me with a brick or shoot me kind of person. So I say we get a sanctioned fight, a boxing match, and we just throw down. Square up. Put the sparring gear on and let's go a couple rounds. That's what I would do. Oh, but we got one last little tidbit here. It didn't stop there. Somehow, Disco Inferno, he stuck his nose into this whole situation. He commented on the whole 50 people thing, And he said, the story here is that 50 people in the wrestling business supposedly had the same story. I think that is about as likely as God descending from the heavens tomorrow. So now he's called Sean Ross Sapp a liar. And then he put out a tweet that said, Sean Ross Sapp is in my DMs using foul language because he was the subject of a joke online and now he's melting down. He's calling me names. I'm heartbroken. now he's now he's jumped in on Disco Inferno too. So this is more self-defense. But yeah, that is the Sean Ross Sapp, JD from New York saga. But on that note, I think that's going to do it for the show. If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's always good.